The Dallas Mavericks sold. They have traded away Luka Doncic at 25 to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, I think, has been a really good player this year. However, I think it would be foolish to not just point out the blatant craziness of this trade. Anthony Davis is an incredible defensive player. No doubt. I'm not denying that. He's not even a semblance of the offensive player. Now you're basically putting emphasis on Kyrie and AD, two guys who I think are better at number 2 scoring options, offensive options. Now Kyrie's in a way is the number 1 offensive weapon because now he's got to be the primary playmaker and facilitator, and I don't think he's necessarily good enough to do that. And then you got to hope AD is consistent enough on offense, which at times, right, the beginning of the season, the dude's averaging 30, then he plays Jokic, and ever since he's averaging like 25, 24, it's cool, but it's nothing that you're like, oh my God, this is otherworldly, this offense is going crazy. And now you basically give the Lakers a free timeline extension. Now, their window rapidly having to be open, close because AD and LeBron, now you basically said, you know what? We'll give you guys an extra 10 years. Go build with Luka. I think this trade is ridiculous. I think this is a sham. We're gonna get into some film breakdown here, and we're gonna talk about why this trade makes so little sense for the Dallas Mavericks, especially if your idea is you want to win now. Because Anthony Davis, of all players, of the last however many years, has not really shown you he's a win now player, right? In 2023. The offense was extremely inconsistent. One night he dropped like 40 and 20. Then he dropped like 12 and 5. Then he dropped, 45 and 15. Then he dropped 13 and 10. Like, I think it's been clear throughout this Lakers era, AD minus last year has never consistently been like their consistent scoring number 1 option. And that's what's hurt them. And now they're getting Luka. And now you can move on from LeBron, so you're not weighted down. So let's get into the film and talk about what these two teams have effectively done. So effectively now, the Mavericks went all in on defense, right? They basically went for the two-way play of Anthony Davis, right? The elite defender, right? And now they basically said, okay, we're going to run Gafford as a backup. You got Lively still. Now they have too many bigs. Because now you have PJ Washington, who's going to be, I think he's probably going to be their starting 4. Then you still have Gafford, Lively, AD. So is AD the 4 now? And then where does PJ Washington go? How do these offensive rotations end up working out for your team? Like, sure, AD is an offensive improvement over those other 4s and 5s, absolutely. And defensively, he's the best player you've got. Like, he's a top probably 3 to 5 defender in the league. So what he's giving you, right, you didn't have before. But your offense is taking such a significant hit. And now your rotations just become absolutely ridiculous because, again, now your guard rotations, I don't know what the hell's going on. Is Dinwiddie starting? Where do you go? Right? Like, in all seriousness, like, how do you take this team to the next level in terms of the offense now? Because in the finals, we saw part of the biggest issue was, yes, Luka's defense was bad, but it was also because he was the only dude that showed up on offense for that finals. He's the only dude. Nobody else showed up. Kyrie was every other game, as usual, as he was in those playoffs, right? One half he'd be fantastic, the next half he'd be terrible, vice versa. And then, again, AD defensively is always going to be fantastic. No doubt about it. My problem is, I think he's like 33, so I'll be 35 basically in the next 2 years. Kyrie has a player option, so there's still a fact that Kyrie can basically just be like, nah, dog, I'm good. I don't even want to do this run. Right, like let's say in the next 4 or 5 months, they get eliminated first, second round, struggle. Let's say they don't even make the playoffs, they lose in the play-in. Kyrie's like, you know what, bro? I'm so cool off of this, and just leaves. You basically cashed in for 5 months of a possible championship. 5 months. And I'm still not sure if this team is beating, the Nuggets. I don't know if they're beating a team like Minnesota. I don't know if they're beating a team, like, the OKC Thunder. I don't know if they're guaranteed to beat a team like Memphis. I genuinely am not sure if this team is really that, crazy. Because think about how long we've gone, LeBron AD pairing. Well, that's a better pairing than Kyrie and AD. Because again, LeBron could be your offensive, distributor. Kyrie cannot be that. That's always been his thing. He's never been good enough as the number one offensive hub for any championship team. Even when they went on the finals run, obviously Luka was still your offensive hub. I think this trade was quite frankly just a cheap ownership move. This was we don't want to pay you, so let's just move on. And I mean, if that's what it was, then it's foolish, but at least I can understand. But now they're doing the thing about Luka's weight, and we're concerned about that. But then again, are you not concerned about AD and his injury history? At what point do you really look at a top 3 player in the world, and will probably stay that way for the next 5 to 10 years, and then trade that away for the possibility basically 2 with Anthony Davis? I think that's foolish. And then we could get into what Luka's going to give this team. And now ultimately, I think what the Lakers did was they said, imagine if we got a slightly worse young LeBron. They basically went off of the idea that Luka can be what they thought LeBron was going to be for a little bit longer in terms of he can run it with just about anybody next to him. And now you can fill around with role guys, because now you can run a team of because I think LeBron's gone now in the next 2 years. I think basically this might be his second to last year, and I think next year LeBron James is retiring. There's no way they keep LeBron around at this point with the timeline. It wouldn't make sense. So at that point, you got LeBron, you got Luka, you got AR-15. They're probably going to trade for a big at that point, or they can probably draft one. And at that point, you can do whatever you want because Luka's going to facilitate for them and make them look better than they actually are. And that Luka has done more with less, and you're the Lakers. You're going to attract free agents. This isn't Dallas anymore. That whole attracting free agents concern for a guy like Luka, or what Jokic has or what Giannis has, is gone. Guys are going to want to go to LA. They just are. So guys are going to want to play with Luka. And at that point, you can fill out your roster still with really good role players, and you can probably still trade for a number 2. Hell, there is a chance that when Kyrie declines that player option, he goes, you know what, man? I'm going to just run this real quick with my boy Luka again. I'll say a 2-3 year deal. Give me a bunch of money in those 2 to 3 years, sure. And we'll just move from there. Another thing, he can't do that, right? And even then, you could go and get Fox. You could do so many different things that you really want if you're the Lakers. That at this point, I think, quite frankly, again, the Lakers are Rob Pelinka. He deserves all the credit. This dude's a genius. I said, but Emser, they're just really dumb. Hey, you did this trade though. You didn't give up the 2031 pick. Luka might not be on this team in 6 years, and you still have that pick. Brother, there is no guarantee that Luka Doncic is the Laker in 2031. And they still have their pick. I think, quite frankly, what we have seen is a new ownership regime say, we don't want to pay you that much. We know a guy that probably will. And I think this trade was, quite frankly, one of the worst trades in NBA history. Especially when the Mavs do not win a championship with Kyrie and AD. And then if the Lakers win a ring with Luka in the next 3 to 4 years, it's over. It's so over, this trade. I never want to hear some revisionist history of, this trade wasn't actually that bad. No. And now the Mavs look dumb for trading for Kyrie because they gave up picks for Kyrie to be with Luka. And now they don't have Kyrie with Luka. And now teams like the Nets are saying, oh my God, we just got bailed. Guys, let me know what you think down below. I believe this trade is one of the worst trades in NBA history. I think this is foolishness. I think the fact that Mikal Bridges could basically go for 5 firsts and you only get 1 for Luka is absurd. And again, I think, quite frankly, this has been insane. So without further ado, guys, this was Amsterdam Hoops. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.